Who stirs the dust of my tomb? Are you come like a robber in the night to plunder this house of gold and steal away my glory? Or perhaps the gods have led you here, that by your hand I may be freed at last to leave this desolate place and enter everlasting life. Peace then, stranger, and hear my tale. Many centuries ago, I was a mighty Pharaoh in this land. When my days drew to an end, I was summoned to join the gods, and my body was laid to rest in this pyramid. In order that I should live among the gods as richly as I lived upon earth, I was surrounded with treasures and possessions for my journey. But the preparations are not yet complete. 7 objects are still missing, and this place has now become my prison, for I cannot depart until they are found. It shall be your task to discover these 7 things and bring them here to complete my burial, so that I may be reborn among the gods. The things you must find are a sickle, a spindle, a scribal pallet, a crook and flail, a mirror, a masonry chisel and a mallet, and a heart scarab. You will face many challenges upon your quest, but my spirit will be with you. Do not fail me.
Greetings. I am a priest of the temple. Do you wish to honor the gods? Come, and I will show you how they must be served. The gods need daily service, as well as the special tribute which is paid during the festival times. We must also make preparations for the king and for ourselves in the life to come. Ask what you wish to know. Then go and pay your respects to the gods within the temple. Welcome again.
Priests are responsible for ensuring the safe passage of the departed Pharaoh and his subjects into the afterlife. This requires that the body is preserved by making a mummy. It is a long and difficult process. The body must first be prepared. Then embalmers do the work of removing the organs, drying the body, and tidying it and bandaging it. The body must be quickly taken to the place of purification. Here it is washed in natron, dissolved in water. This symbolizes rebirth in the same way as the sun is reborn each day. Then the body is moved to the House of Beauty, where it is embalmed. Both of these places lie on the west bank of the Nile, where the sun sets. There are several types of embalmers. The overseer of the mysteries is in charge. He plays the role of Anubis, the jackal god of the dead. Next is the seal-bearer of the god and the lector priest, who must read the magic spells. Lowest of all are the bandagers who wrap the body, remove the internal organs and fetch and carry. The brain is an organ of no purpose, and is removed in pieces through the nose. The lungs, liver, stomach and intestines are removed from a cut in the stomach. They must be washed, dried and bandaged. Then they are placed in 4 canopic jars. Intelligence lies in the heart, so it must remain in the body. 3 spells from the Book of the Dead are used to ensure heart and body are not parted. The body is rinsed and filled with rags or straw so it will keep its shape during the next stage. On a low sloping stone table, dry natron is piled over the body and stuffed inside in linen bags to dry it out. 40 days later, the stuffing is taken out. The body is then rinsed and dried. After that, we stuff it with bags of fresh natron and resin-soaked linen to keep its shape and make it smell nice. The body is rubbed with a lotion so the skin doesn't crack. Everything which has touched the body must be kept and buried with it. The cut in the abdomen is healed by placing the Ujjat eye over it. The Ujjat eye prevents evil from entering the body. The nostrils, ears and mouth are plugged with wax or linen. The whole body is coated in molten resin before being made beautiful again. Makeup is used on the face and sometimes the whole body is painted. Wonderful wigs and jewellery are worn according to the wealth of the deceased. A strict ritual is followed with spells to ensure safe transit to the next life. A yellow shroud is used first, and the toes and fingers are wrapped in linen. The head is next, followed by the arms and then the whole body. Each layer is painted with molten resin to hold everything together. The hollows are filled out with pads of linen. Amulets are placed for protection, and at least 1 red shroud covers the mummy. Finally, the mummy mask is put in position.
Welcome, stranger. Have you come looking for work? You don't look as if you were used to working the land. It's a hard life being a farmer, but it brings its own rewards. Come, let me show you. There are a lot of things you have to learn to be a farmer. You have to know about the land and what to grow and when. And if you don't learn that lesson fast, you starve. You have to know all the ways of the Nile. You have to know about the stars and the seasons. Why don't you have a look around? If you have any questions, come back and ask. So you're back. Is there anything more you'd like to know? The Nile is very important for us. Each year it floods and spreads fertile mud across the valley. It's also a source of food, giving us fish and waterfowl. And trade and tributes are brought to us by this great river from people in other lands. Me, I have no gold or jewels. My wages are paid in food and goods. We can exchange these goods or trade any extra food for the other things we need. I exchange some grain for clay pots and linen cloth from other parts of Egypt. We measure the value of goods by their weight. Normally a certain amount of something is worth a certain weight in copper. If the deal is for expensive things, then we use silver or gold instead.
After the end of the New Kingdom, Egypt had a civil war. In the north, the 21st dynasty claimed to rule all of Egypt. However, the priests of Amun ruled southern Egypt, and the two sides fought each other for control of the kingdom. While they fought, Egypt's power as a nation became weaker and weaker. These days, Egypt's borders stretch from the Mediterranean to the Sudan and from Libya to the Red Sea. She is about 1 million square kilometres in area, but only about 4% of this area is fertile, as in ancient times. Egypt is a republic. A president is in charge of the country. About 60 million people live in Egypt, and this figure is on the increase because of improvements in healthcare, food production and the like. Most of the population are Arabs, and Arabic is Egypt's first language. Egypt has been influenced by European and American culture, but many of the traditional ways are still used. In the country, away from the cities, many people still live in mud brick buildings, but some of the big cities look very modern and European. Egypt produces a lot of goods for export. Most people in Egypt work on farms, and Egypt sells plenty of cotton, sugar and grain. She also has a strong industry, with factories for making cloth, iron, steel, aluminium and fertilizers. Egypt also produces oil, although not as much as other Arab countries. However, Egyptian films, newspapers and books are sold all across the Arab-speaking world, and Cairo radio broadcasts to the whole of the Middle East. Tourism is one of the most important industries. Egypt has over 1 million visitors a year.
You have found no objects yet. Take courage and set out upon your quest.